All right, welcome back to the Scarlet Faithful podcast. I'm Aaron Brightman. Thank you for starting your week following July 4th with the Scarlet Faithful podcast. As always, brought to you by Knights of the Raritan, the Rutgers NIL Collective. Click on the link in the description of this episode to join their free newsletter, which gives you all the goings-ons within Knights of the Raritan, their exclusive events, promotional activities, all kinds of things they have coming up for the fall, some of which will be announced on this podcast soon, as well as just in terms of their coverage of Rutgers athletics, and most importantly, become a member to donate NIL to Rutgers student athletes. Wanted to have my first podcast back, took a few days off, just in terms of kind of catching up, being with the family, and obviously some football news on Friday. And this is now coming out Monday morning. But we want to talk about the commitment of Kamar Archie, the four-star linebacker from New Jersey. Also wanted to hit on some big picture takeaways of this 25 class. So Kamar Archie, four-star linebacker, currently with the Hun School, previously of Ewing High School in Mercer County, both schools in Mercer County. And Hun is a prep school that Rutgers has not had a lot of success with prior to Schiano coming back. And this is a big win for that perspective for sure. Archie was a legit national prospect, took official visits in June to Clemson, Michigan, and Rutgers. Michigan had recruited him for a long time, as had Clemson, but Rutgers offered him all the way back in 2021. Greg Schiano, Joe Harris-Simiak, and I think that was key in all of this. I mean, Archie has said that in some post interviews. But just it also shows the vision that Rutgers had. You know, they recruited him as a freshman at Ewing. He reclassified in 2025 and is certainly brings a lot to the table on the field. The best kind of description I saw written about him is he's sideline to sideline, very fast, great athleticism, great speed. Another track guy adding to the defense. He runs the 100 meters and 6'1", 225, jacked, super muscular. Can only imagine what he's going to look like when Jay Butler gets his hands on him in the strength and conditioning program. But he is just a pure athlete, and he is fierce. He's punishing. But it's not just that. It's not just his athleticism and speed. He has the ability to make the right reads. He's kind of a natural just in terms of the angles he takes, the reads he takes, just in terms of pursuing the ball carrier. Coverage in the passing game, something that's going to come. But in terms of his ability to be all over the field as a linebacker, he's scary. Now, he's a dominant football player in the state of New Jersey offensively as well. Who knows? But they recruited him as a linebacker. He said, they're talking about all three linebacker positions. Obviously, Rutgers plays a lot of 4-2-5 as well. But they love their linebackers in terms of, being able to be a hybrid, the Mo Toure type that can be on the defensive line a bit. Also, their safeties sometimes are converted linebackers. They like them really big and strong. So he could end up in a number of positions. The other thing is because he reclassified, he's going to be 19 in March of 25. So he seems like a likely candidate to enroll early. And with that 25 roster wide open, he could make an impact really quickly, particularly on special teams. And who knows how the defensive two deep will shake out. But he is a kid that, is a high impact, long road recruit in terms of someone that Rutgers has pursued for a long time, and they stayed on him, and it paid off. And it's just a testament to Greg Schiano and his staff. The inroads that they're making in New Jersey, not just as a whole in terms of the rankings, but the schools they're getting players from now, the Big North, the prep schools. Hun is one that, like I mentioned, was elusive to Rutgers for a long time. And also just the fact that they are beating out blue bloods of the Big Ten for multiple recruits in this class now is certainly notable. And Archie is just another one that they had done that with. He's now the 7th four-star recruit in the class per the 24/7 composite rankings. That player grade average now up to 87.80, the highest in modern history for Rutgers. We had talked about earlier this summer about if they could get close to 88. That's right around a top 25 ranking. In terms of Archie, it offers from everyone. In terms of Rutgers now, 4 linebackers in the 2025 class, and that's super exciting. in terms of just the athleticism, the size, the speed that they are bringing to that position. And again, it's a type of position where they can utilize them in multiple ways down the road. They can convert to other positions if there's a little bit of a back jump. If they all work out, that would be obviously a great problem to have. But you now have 2 4-star linebackers in the state in DJ McClary, who they flipped from Penn State, and now Kamar Archie with Michigan and Clemson as official visits. I mean, that's big time. Both of those players have a ton of potential and are just explosive on the defensive end. They joined 3-star linebacker Isaiah DeLoach from Durham, North Carolina. He committed all the way back in early May. And then Talibi Kaba from Hillside. He is listed as an athlete. Some consider him going to be a linebacker. I think he might end up at safety, but he is one that could be a linebacker for Rutgers as well. So you're talking about a very deep haul for linebacker for Rutgers in the 2025 class. And the defensive talent now adding McClary, Archer, along with Tariq Hare, the safety 4-star that they added from DC earlier in June. Those are 3 dynamic defensive players to add to the defense. What Rutgers has done in New Jersey in this class is right below what they did in 2012. The last class for Schiano, which you can kind of give a hat tip, of course, to Kyle Flood, who took over when Schiano left right near the end of right before signing day. In that class, Rutgers was loaded in New Jersey. Obviously, Darius Hamilton, the top recruit in the class, a 5-star at the time. The number 5 player in the state was Quanzel Lambert. Then you have Leonte Carew at 7, Ruan Peel at 8, Ryan Brody at 10, Steve Longa at 11. So that was 6 recruits, 6 commits in the top 11 in New Jersey in 2012. They also had Julian Penix Ojek, JPO, at 16. They had Devon Jacobs at 18, Javon Tyree at 21. So that's 9 commits in the top 21. That's 7 in the top 16. Rutgers now in the 25 class. In terms of the composite ranking, Rutgers now with 6 commits in the top 15 in New Jersey, 8 in the top 23, 10 in the top 32. Let's start at the top. Number 4, Michael Thomas, the receiver from Toms River, Donovan Catholic. DJ McClary, the linebacker from Jersey City, number 5. You have Kamar Archie now, number 8. Jalen Matthews, the offensive lineman from Toms Rivers, number 11. And you have Talibi Kaba at number 15. But you have 3 in the top 8. Now with Archie, McClary, and Thomas all coming within the last 2 weeks. Forster is a borderline 4-star. Kaba is a 4-star by other services as well. Really, really strong work there in that top 15. And then at 22 and 23, you have Jaden Elijah, the offensive lineman from Matawan, Renick Derillas from now Don Bosco, the cornerback. Then you have Sini DeGraffendite, the wide receiver from Atlantic City at number 28. And you have Chris Vigna, the offensive lineman from Bergen Catholic at number 32. So this class in particular in 25 for New Jersey is very strong. Rutgers did not waste their time last cycle with New Jersey, really created some strong recruiting in other regions like North Carolina, which has paid off again this cycle. You've seen them dip into Georgia in this class. Florida continues to be strong. They've done a good job in the footprint of the Big Ten in the Midwest. And I've been a big proponent of Rutgers. I think some mistakes in the past in multiple sports, multiple programs, has been kind of clinging to the dream of getting top prospects in New Jersey. And sometimes coaching staffs waiting too long and they ultimately get burned. Where you've seen Schiano, I think, done a masterful job of leveraging his relationships in the state, continuing to foster those relationships, continuing to add to his credibility by turning Rutgers around once again, a second time, getting the benefit of the doubt from a lot of guys early on in terms of coaching staffs in the high school ranks, but now really turning heads with recruits, and now some of the top recruits in the country that could go to a lot of Power 4 programs are having faith now in Rutgers, staying home, and to do so in this class is a huge statement because it is a particularly strong year. It's not like this is a year in New Jersey where it's kind of weak and Rutgers swept the field, got 6 or 7 in the top 10, but how many of those were going to go to other? I mean, the Power 4 offer list, I'm going to do a whole episode soon just on all the Power 4 offer lists of this class because it's unbelievable just in terms of all the schools that were pursuing not only in the Big Ten, but on a national level, SEC. I mean, I don't think there's been a class that have had that many SEC offers, visits that this class has had. And that is certainly an encouraging sign. Again, it's not just about rankings. It's not just about power, player grade, average. Those things matter, like offer lists. And this class has been highly pursued across the country. This is a national recruiting class. I don't care where they're ranked right now. I've talked about that player grade average being the most important thing. It's at 87.80. If you look at last year, they're tracking anywhere from mid-20s to mid-30s. Most likely, I'm going to say in the 27 to 32 range. It all depends, obviously, on how other classes finish out for other programs. You have a lot of 5-stars still on the board. And that is why Rutgers is a lot higher than they'll ultimately finish, because a lot of the top recruits have not committed. That player grade average is what you really want to focus on. And listen, Rutgers finishing 26th, 28th. I mean, that would be very, very good. Tremendous progress forward for Schiano. But really my biggest point that I wanted to make and how I wanted to end this is that those were the expectations with Greg Schiano coming back. That's what he was hired to do. This is a coach that has been very bold, how he's promoted the program. And when he came back, I was in that room for that opening press conference, and he talked about it, winning a national championship. And if Rutgers is ever going to get in that top half of the Big Ten, that top third now with an 18-team Big Ten, and my next episode will cover the 10-year anniversary and kind of from a fan perspective of what it's all meant, what I think we're looking at moving forward. This is what we expected for Greg Schiano to land top 25, top 30 classes year after year, to go to bowl games year after year, and to steadily increase the talent level, the depth, and the success of this program. And if you want to look at it as half glass full, I'm saying this in a positive way, is that let's hope they're not close to where they're going to be, that this is a step up the ranks in terms of recruiting, in terms of moving up that ladder in the Big Ten, and that there is still climbing to go. Because if this can be the floor now, if Rutgers can recruit at a top 30 level year after year, where they creep towards a top 20 class, maybe in the high teens, that player grade average jumps from an 88 to close to an 89, maybe a 90. That's when things will really start to accelerate. If from a developmental standpoint, that's what the strength of this program is, that is where things can really take off. And obviously on the field this season, hugely important to recruiting moving forward, but you're seeing a significant jump from 2 years ago to last year, which was the number 35 class, with that player grade average now a whole point plus better than the previous cycle. If you can make that kind of jump year over year for the next 2-3 years, that's serious stuff. And I think a credit to Greg Schiano is that he's right now where we expected him to be. He's where Rutgers needed him to be. He's why he was hired. This is why. This isn't, I know some people are celebrating it like it's, unbelievable. And it, in some respects and context, it absolutely is where the program was, where he took over. But at the same time, this is what we expected Greg Schiano. This is what we know he's capable of. And frankly, I think he's capable of more. He's cooking with gas. You can see what he could do. That NCAA ruling, obviously, schools pretty close to paying out student athletes. NIL continuing to evolve. The retention that Rutgers did with this current team, and now what they're doing with this class. Stability across the board. The coaching staff, strongest I think it's ever been in the modern era. A lot of things going Rutgers' way. Greg Schiano doing what we all hoped and thought and expected and fought for him to be here, for him to do. And he's doing it. And it's super exciting. But I think better days are still ahead. But this 25 class, solidifying this 25 class, it's a major statement. What he's done in New Jersey, what they're doing, position groups, strengthening the roster, talent, speed, depth, linebacker, secondary, offensive line, we didn't even talk about today, skill positions, just a lot of exciting stuff here, and it continues to boom. Now, they're at 29 commits in the 25 class. All their known kind of top targets are there in terms of off the board, committed to Rutgers. But I do think you'll see them pick up a couple guys. That's where this could really get exciting, right? You get a total wild card, someone we're not even thinking about right now, that if they're off to a hot start in 2024 and have a couple spots that they can still fill, who knows where this could go in terms of landing a surprise commit. I do think they'll get in those low 30s. I think a couple more, maybe 2 to 3 more spots. Of course, you're going to fill it with the transfer portal as well. Greg Schiano, a master at working roster counts. There's no scholarship limit now with high school kids. No more 25. So, again, tremendous development for Rutgers football. Kamar Archie committing on Friday. And big picture, takeaway, this is exactly what we thought Greg Schiano could do in 2.0 at Rutgers. He's doing it. Better days are here. Better days are still to come. I got my Keep Chopping shirt on from Night and Day Apparel. Go to Night and Day Apparel, type in Scarlet Faithful for your discount code. Get 10% off. They have great stuff. Not only is this shirt awesome, but it's extremely comfortable. I also have my own Scarlet Faithful gear there, so check that out. I'm going to have 3 podcasts come out on Monday. This is the first one. I'm going to have one on the Big Ten and Rutgers' place in it, a decade now, at lunchtime. And then I'll have a full basketball podcast in the afternoon talking about the recent Bartorvik upgraded projections, where Rutgers falls there. They released the roster on Sunday in terms of some of the heights, so check all that out. Coming back strong from the break. Thanks so much for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful.